tonight, all night, and you would have not started the study preparation earlier, um, throughout the school year. No, I'd advise that you start early. Don't just wait until the last minute, which is tonight, to begin the revision. You can start in a month in advance. Plan your days. So one, you can have breakdown of your days. So you can think about your study session as one between from 2 hours. So you can set up them in blocks. You can start and break in between. So if you have a 2 hour study session, you should know how you can actually have a break in between each study session or each hour, 30 minutes. So for me, what I do when it's exam time, like right now, what I do is I have focus sessions. Perhaps I do maybe 5 hours for the day of studying, and it's not consistent 5 hours because after time you notice that you are actually sometimes you sleep, you buck your yarn, all kind of fatigue you experience when you're just doing consistent 5 hours. But if you should break up those 5 hours, it helps you to really memorize and become super active while you are learning or engaging with the materials. One, you need to think about balancing the subject because some of you are doing 10, 5, or even 11 CXC subjects. So don't spend all the time on one subject. And this is why time management is important. It helps you to rotate between the different subject areas and to tighten up and to look at new subjects and to learn fresh things. So one, here is a time to a sample of a study timetable, an example. From this, you can utilize this going forward for the rest of your exams. And this is how I do my study timetables. So what you do, you start your timer. So if you start in 4 o'clock, you can start your timer at 4, and then at 5, start it for one, set it for 1 hour, 30 minutes. And for that 1 hour, 30 minutes, you'll be practicing mathematics. You'll be looking at the formulas, looking at the going through all the formulas, whether it's whichever formula you have or you need to learn. And then you'll be practicing past papers. When you look at English A, the same method apply. So now you're looking at the time again, it's between 6 to 7:30 p.m. And then you have a focus, you have the sessions. So I have the notes right here. You focus on past papers, reading, and other practical methods. On a Tuesday, you can do social studies and IT. One, you can review the notes, you can put your notes on flashcards. So what I used to do is that when it comes to certain terminologies, when we talk about sociology, we social studies, sorry, because I did sociology in sixth form. We're talking about social studies in fifth form. So when we talk about social studies, we think about the system of government, the different branches of government, and then I would put them on a flashcard. So you have three different flashcards. You have the legislative branch, the judiciary, and the executive branch, and then you'd list their roles on it. Then you'd have another flashcard that you're talking about the bills, how laws how laws are made or how bills are passed or made into legislation, just to have a better understanding. And that is how you can review your notes. When it comes to IT, you can even do both a practice session of IT and a theoretical session of IT. The theoretical session of IT is going through the intricacies of information technology and just looking at exactly when it comes to programming, when it comes to Excel, when it comes to the different database and all of those. When it comes to those, you can know how to utilize them. When it comes to Excel, you can read up on the formulas, how you apply sum of plus and all, and the list goes on. On a Wednesday, you can look at POB. And we're still on on time management because time management is of super important in whatever you're doing. Because if you don't manage your time well, then you're going to have serious problems. You can do mathematics and POB again. You can look at the business concept when it comes to principles of business. You can even use the said flashcard method to just write out partnership, company, sole proprietor, and all of those key terminologies that are frequently used in principles of business. And then you look at math again, problem solving sets. Then on a Thursday, you can say English A once more, and then IT again. And then you can look at essay writing for English A, you can look at story writing, you can look at summary writing, and all of those that you'd have touched in your different classes. And then we look at the software skills when it comes to IT, and then you repeat the same for Friday. When we look at Saturday, weekend, it depends on how flexible your weekends are, because it is possible that most of us still do have chores to do at home. So how do we schedule our study sessions for a Saturday? And those may be some questions that you might have at the end of the presentation. We now move on to the next thing, practicing your exams, practicing for your exam. One, it is important to practice because it helps you to identify your weaknesses. Secondly, it builds your confidence. And finally, it helps you to be more familiarized with the format of the exam. When you practice your exams, it highlights the weaknesses and it guides you to assist you for a better study performance and even future assessment. When we talk about building confidence, we're looking at the frequent practices which enhance the confidence level and mitigate the stress, leading to a calmer and a better performance. Because when we think of mathematics, just the subject alone for some of us, just the M in mathematics means when I was in high school, they used to say mental something or something. But no, you have to have change the approach, change your attitude. If you start writing, because when I was in fourth and fifth form, my math teacher, when she write on the board, she used to write one hashtag. And even to this day, I still write these in my book. The hashtag was math is fun. So each time I'm about to practice math, it builds a confidence because I remember that math is fun. Are you hearing me? Here. Guys? Send some. All right, moving on. Familiarizing with the format. So these formats help us to really. So these exams introduce us to the actual format and the questions of stats. So when you're practicing the past paper, it makes you more comfortable on the test day because you'd have already seen the format of this. And it helps you to learn also, as I said, the structure of the question. It improves your time management. So what you can do is that you can time yourself doing some of the questions because you know for a fact that all CXC examinations have a time span. So it lasts for 2 hours. And if you are doing maybe approximately over 5 questions in mathematics, you're not able to spend an hour working on one question. So you have to develop the accuracy and the speed. And if you're practicing the papers regularly, it helps you with that. Because what you can do is that you can start with timed practices, and then you move to time practice session. And then you can even look at the mark scheme. You can even pull up because what CXC, when you look at CXC, for example, on the website, the official website, you can even pull up some past paper questions and you can see the answers that are there. So what you can do for yourself is that when it comes to mathematics, you can work them out on your own, and then you can go for the answer key to look how well you are doing and to just get a feel of where you are and where you need to improve. When we look at study strategy now, I want to say that you have two active learning. When we talk about the active learning technique, we're looking at summarizing or teaching each other, which enhances understanding, engaging deeply with the material for long-lasting retention, and empower your exam, which will empower your exam success. So when I talk about active learning, this is what I used to do when I was in fourth and fifth one. We had a group, and this group comprised of approximately 5 students. Each student, they were they were um they were exceptional at the different subject areas. So one person was good in math, another was good in information technology, another in office administration, English A, English B. And what we did was that we pooled together. So we had active learning. So tonight, if we're studying mathematics, we do mathematics together. and we are all responsible for teaching each other a particular subject on a particular night. And we all recall the subject together, we summarize them. So before you go to those sessions, you have to know something. And it is super important to note. Making effective note is another thing. Don't just read the textbook, but engage with the material actively. So as I said, use summaries, bullet points, charts, mind mapping, and flashcards. And where we are, I want to encourage you to use AI, but don't take AI's work. Try to make your own, but use AI as a sample, a guide to your study, to enhance your study technique. So now you can, if you have all the notes, what you can do, you can put it in chat GTP, chatbot, or which one of the AI tools that you interact with a lot, and to just get the summary of the notes and to just use that to actively engage with the material and remember the pointers. Now, you can rewrite the notes, because what I do is if I rewrite my notes, I can recall them properly. You can rewrite your notes in your own words so that you can better understand and remember them. For instance, if I get a definition of a word, I try to put it in my own word to make it more simple. For instance, we're looking at partnership. If somebody says partnership, we're looking at two or more persons coming together for the sole purpose of business or whichever purposes. You get what I'm saying? Now we can look at other techniques. And we want to look at regular reviews. Regular reviews is revisiting the material with strengthening memory and comprehension. So schedule these sessions to reinforce concepts and improve information and recall during CXC exams. So this is so a practical example of regular review is you can make up a beat about it. You can go over the same material 10 times so that you can actively remember it. So when I was in fifth form as well, and even to this day, what I still do is that I still look over or read regularly, because reading is very important, and it is especially super important in the degree that I'm doing, which is international relations. And later on during the session, if you want to know more about IR, I can actually tell you. But now let us focus on the business at hand. And it is super, as I'm saying, it is super important to review your notes. And when I say review those notes, what is happening on the screen? I'm not sure what's happening, but I'm seeing some markers of that. Is that me? All right, so moving on. Let's just not focus on that because I'm not sure what's happening right here. So when you review the notes, so you can recall your notes. So it's a possibility that you have a definition. You can read over that definition. For instance, if you're looking at let me give you a terminology that we frequently use in international relations. We look at treaty, and if I'm studying anything related to treaty, what I do is that I make the session. So after each class, what I do is I read over my notes. I read it for at least 3 to 4 times. After reading that notes, I try to recall what I can remember. I try to recall, and repetition is key. Repetition is how we learn. So don't be afraid to go over and go over and over and over again. That is how we learn. Repetition is key. So if you constantly repeat or do the same thing over and over, you'll actually see the result. Moving on, when we talk about additional tips, now we love to look at understanding the so understanding the concept, and don't just strive to memorize the concepts. So if you understand the concept for CXE exam, it often tests for application. So when you look at the mark scheme of CXE after you get your result, grade 1 or grade 2 in the math and English, there's a section that has application. So the grades are put across straight. And then you have application as one of the sections. CXE marks for application, analysis, and understanding. So it's not about just recalling or regurgitating the information or just taking up the information verbatim from the literature and put it back on the paper. That is not what it is testing on. So one, I'd advise that you focus on grasping the whys and the how, especially in subject like the the mathematics, science, and social studies. Because when you look at the social studies paper today, what they ask for a lot of time is gives to give a strategy, and you have to explain the why and the how. So they might give you a scenario of John and his mother having some form of issues and what you would do to really assist them. So what would you recommend? Formulate a strategy. If you're going to formulate a strategy, it is also important to know why and how. A lot of times when students come from these examinations and you ask them, how was it? They said that, I lit me for six. But the reality is that, lick you for six, the reality is that you did not understand the concept and you were only depending on your memory. So when the question formulates a different way, you did not know how to apply yourself to the question. It is application, guys, and I want to stress application because if you know how to apply yourself to the material, you can't go wrong. You can never lose. So use real world examples to that, and that is super relatable. So when you get a particular question for your social studies exam, upcoming social studies exam, don't just approach it from a standpoint where it is things from the textbook. Approach it from a standpoint that you're having a conversation with your friend and he's asking for some suggestions of how to do things better. And you want to assist your friend. So use real world scenarios that are relatable. So first of all, how you can write your strategy is peel. So I learned this method, which is point, explanation, example, and link. So first of all, you make the point, then you give an example, then you explain it, you give an example, and then you make the connection, which is the link. And there you have it. Join a study group. I want to implore you that study groups work, but study groups only work when each and every person in that study group has a responsibility. Because if you have 4 persons in that study group and only 3 knows the material, it is their responsibility to ensure that the other person knows the material, but it is also your individual responsibility to know the material so that you guys are not depending on each other, because that would be a waste of time. You can't come and we say we are going to have study session 6 o'clock and you don't know nothing at all. That doesn't make any sense because you'll be wasting the time of your fellow classmates or the other students who are really interested in assisting you. So know your material. So when you join the study group, what it does is that it can boost motivation. It helps you to understand the difficult topics that you don't understand. And it even helps you to share resources, quiz each other, and explain certain concepts to each other. And then, so I want to implore you that when you talk about study group, be careful. More one, choose group that have serious-minded friends or individuals who are committed to success. Not people who will come and talk about what going over TikTok and who say what and what happen over Instagram. Not those people. People who are serious about their grades, serious about every single thing as it relates to passing CXC subjects. So now we want to look at taking your mental health and physical health serious. When you talk about studying, we want to talk about sleep. It is not just about pulling all-nighters and not sleeping. Sleep is important. I came to university and they said that sleep is a concept. And I still don't buy into that because sometimes it gets to that level where you're not able to sleep because your assignment is due tomorrow morning and you have to be all over the place or you have an exam tomorrow. I prioritize my sleep, strengthen your memory. A lack of that and encourages stress. When you talk about mental health, physical health, we're talking about avoid junk food. Try to eat some good meal during exam season. Because when it comes to exam season, we just want to sit around the device, sit around the textbook, take some short walks. Take some short walks because walks are important. What they do is that they improve or they reduce your anxiety. Normally, what I used to do was to walk around my house. Um, it no matter what time it is, but I must say that some of us, our circumstances are different. And our circumstances are different in a case where we might live in a family house where we're not able to study and study effectively because there's a lot of noise here and noise there, baby here, other family members having a discussion, some playing music, and it's chaotic. It's very chaotic. But how do we move from those scenarios to actually becoming somebody great and creating or making an impact in society? We also need to avoid cramming the night before exam. I cannot overemphasize this. Last minute cramming, increase stress and confusion. Instead, review the key points and practice one or two past paper questions. You need to know what's happening before you go to bed early. Then just trust in your preparation, because as long as you don't put in the work, it will reflect. Now we want to talk about the big day. Exam days finally here. All guys, are you with me? Just remember to send the reaction so I know I'm bored. And we're about to have an interactive session shortly. So coming down, put in real short. So let me know. Send up some reactions, please. So moving on. The next thing is that exam days here. Most important day. Stay calm and focus. Go to your exam early. Get to the exam center at least 30 to 45 minutes or even an hour before the start time. If you have an exam 9 o'clock, please don't go 8:30 or 8:45 for the exam 9 o'clock, because you will be rushing straight into the exam. Try to leave out early. Try to be there from 8:15, 7:45, there about. Be early. Bring everything you need for your exam. Your exam starters pack. You need your IDs, your pens, your pencils, your calculators, if it is a science subject that requires one, or mathematics that requires a calculator, and anything else that is required for your exams. Please ensure you take them. Remember, on when you're in the exam room, to read your instructions carefully. Don't rush. Make sure that you understand what you're being asked. Because a lot of times they say describe and we don't describe. A lot of times they say explain and we write just that sentence. That doesn't capture the essence of what the examiner is looking for, and that will give you a failing grade. And we're not failures here, we're winners here. And as winners, we're going to read our material carefully. And again, I cannot overemphasize managing your time. Time management again is important, because the allotted time to your exam is 2 hours per. So you need to allot a time slot for each questions on your exam paper so that you can complete your paper. If you're stuck on a particular question, move on and return to it later. Don't spend 30 minutes or even 45 minutes on one single question. You have more. You have more questions to look at. No, when it comes to staying positive and believing in yourself, your mindset makes you or breaks your performance. Surround yourself with people who encourage you. Speak positively about your ability. Avoid negative self-talk. Remind yourself, remind yourself remind yourself that you're prepared and you're capable. You can do this. Think about it. When you're in the exam room, I even forget to mention that you need to breathe a word of prayer. You need to pray before you start that exam paper. And I learned this method, meditation. Before you begin your exam, take several deep breaths. Maybe you can do the 4-4-5 method. So you can take 4 inhale, you'll feel a bit anxious. And now we on to some favorite thing, my favorite part of everything, quotes. Quotes are like gems to me. So I want to give you approximately 4 of them, and then we listen to music, and then we have a Q&A breakout session, and then we can interact with each other. So winners never quit and quitters never win. This is one of my favorite quotes to this day. Sometimes I'm studying and I feel like just close the book and lock up the book and go sleep. But when I remember that I'm a winner, I can never quit, because quitting is closing that book. Marcus Garvey said too, if you have no confidence in self, you're twice defeated in the race of life. With confidence, you have won even before you have started. So I have conversation with people who also, before the exam, they're not confident. They be like, oh, me I go fail, me now go pass. And all. No, if you have no confidence in self, then you're twice defeated in the race of life. But with confidence, you have won even before you have started. And again, most importantly, biblical reference. It's important to bring God into the midst of it all. Jesus at the center of it all, he will come through. And as Philippians 4:13 reminds us, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens. Who? Me. Napoleon Hill said, whatever the mind can conceive and believe, it can achieve. So I want to say, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail. The key takeaway tonight is that from our discussion is that on CXE preparation is that it is vital to consolidate your learning. Employ effective study strategies, create study schedule, specific goals, set specific goals, utilize past papers, and participate in study groups if you can. Remember, consistent practice and time management are essential. Stay positive and believe in your readiness to excel in the exam. CXE is an important milestone, but it is not your final destination. Use this opportunity to show what you would have learned and how you have grown. Believe in your potential, stay focused on your goals, and keep pushing forward. Hard work plus smart preparation equals success. And as Kabaka Pyramid said, I have to believe in myself. Marcus Garvey teach me in his speeches, I have to believe in myself. But because we're all winners and we have a success story someday, I'm going to play Nesbitt song, Success Story. And then we can end our session right there. And then we'll have a Q&A session, and then we'll work from there.
Writing a resume is not easy. Finding the right words, using the right examples.
Start that one, yeah.
Are you hearing me? Mr. Williams, are you hearing me? Are you hearing the music once more?
Hearing you, hearing you.
Are you hearing the music?
Hearing the music. Hearing the music.
All right.
My dream, my dream, my dream, my dream, my dream. Tell you my dream is to live my dream. Hear the most I in me sleep when me sleep. Tell you my goal, my goal, my goal. All of my goal is to reach my goal. Live a happy life, put it on me headstone. Nobody no fi cry over me dead. Look at me now, when them treat me less than gold. Put me in a box like a rectangle. Oh oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. Oh, look at me now. I mean, just tell you my life where them used to go round me, go round. No one used to come round me. My life was so lonely. Look at me now. Look at me now. Look at me now. Me a take plane like JUTC. When you see me, it's on TV. Shows after shows after shows after shows. Tours after tours after tours after tours. When me name call is like roars after roars. Sweet melody and chords after chords. Them lock a one door, me bust doors after doors after doors after doors after doors after doors. Look at me now.
So here we have it. We're all a success story one day. And now we're on to our Q&A session. So feel free to ask the questions that you have in mind right now. Any question, guys? Any questions? Guys, I love the interaction, you know. We're just at a different, somebody said no. We're not just I wish you would have had the opportunity to be in the same location, but it has to be online because I'm so far away and the time as well. So I really love for you guys to ask some questions right now so we can have just a quick interacting session, if at least for just 5 minutes. I don't like to be talking to devices or talking through device. So I know we're all people here. Come on, man. Somebody open up the mic and say something, please. Can have a quick session, the interacting session. How was the session? No feedback, comments, concerns, nothing? What's happening? You learn anything? What have you learned? Can
Sir,
somebody tell me
Mr.
one? Yeah, yes, yes.
Good night, sir. So,
Greetings, sir.
from area, from both Friday, but from Friday, me not stop for both the exam tomorrow, sir. No one joke.
You know, stop prep or fret.
Fred, me head hot me.
No,
Me
man.
nerve.
You're a warrior, man. You can't fret. Warriors do not worry, you know. That's why you study.
I mean,
That's why you, eh?
sir, I
I'm
cannot
not
study
here.
one. Sir, I cannot study one whole year for something anxiety. Nerves mash you up. You
Good. You made a solid point. Anxiety. And we do have exam frights. And that's a good point you made, Mr. Lamar. So how do you overcome that? I would say you could be studying for a year or two, but when it comes to the day of the exam, which is a big day, how you feel about that exam determines how you perform. So once you sit, I've had my fair share of exam frights because I went into CXC examination the first time I was in Fort Fall. I didn't know what to expect, but because I was prepping or preparing or using the said methods that I would have just shared with you, which is to look at past papers, when I saw the first question, it developed my confidence. I was like, yeah, I can, and I'm going to pass this. So when it comes to overcoming your anxiety, I would say you can overcome your exam fright. What you need to do is that when you get into the exam, you say the word of prayer, do the inhale, exhale method. So you inhale for 4 and you breathe and you exhale for 4. So you do it calmly and calm down yourself because all you need to do is to get calm. Because if you're not calm, the information that you'd have learned will not be outflowing as much as possible because you're going to tremble, your hand are going to sweat, your foot are going to sweat, yeah, somewhere scratch you, and all kind of fatigue that you'll be experiencing. But you can overcome those exam anxiety. You agree with me, bossy? Are we on the same
yes,
page?
sir. But I that up to me from Friday. I pay sweat me I sweat on a headache cause
Mm-hmm. Me not hear Lamar.
sir, me I said that happened to me from Friday. I pay sweat on something I made a hot me and ask all that so
Mm-hmm. So as I said, Lamar,
nervousness I pay
you do
tremble
English
me and
tomorrow, right?
shit. Yes, sir?
You're doing English tomorrow, right?
Yes, sir.
All right. Tomorrow you have your first exam. What you're going to do for your first exam, because you'd have already been preparing, right? You looked at essay writing, the summary writing, the story
Yes,
writing, stuff like that, right?
yes, sir.
Yeah, that's paper two you have first.
Yes, sir.
All right. So tomorrow you have paper two first. So tonight when you go your bed, make sure say you think about it. Remember say you're a winner. Remember say alkaline say no. From me get in, me I gonna make an impact, And you want to leave an impact. You want to get your sexy subjects. And your subjects is very important. So you have to be brave. Face the exam. Don't be afraid of the exam. So step into the exam because with confidence, knowing that you are well prepared because you have studied, right?
Yes, sir.
So you have to practice the deep breathing, as me tell you about the technique. So practice deep breathing and relaxation. Because relaxation, once you relax, you'll be better able to function in the exam room. So I talk about the deep breath. So I'm going to give you 3 ways how you can actually overcome this practical way. So once you sit in the exam room, you're going to use the deep breathing technique that I gave you, which is the 4-7-8. So you're going to breathe, you're going to inhale you're going to inhale for 4 seconds, you're going to hold it for 7 seconds, and you're going to exhale for 8. So we're going to try that together. So inhale, hold for 4, and then exhale for 8. You understand me, Lamar?
Yes, sir.
Try it and tell me how you feel. Tell me if you don't feel better. It start make you feel calmer, right?
Eh, look a bit, sir.
Little bit. So you see tomorrow, when you step in at the exam, you're going to use the deep breathing technique. That's one. Then you're going to use affirmations. You're going to tell yourself, say, I am prepared. I can handle this. Just think about some Jashim. You have to make it out. Just think about something that motivates you. Think about the music, then when you listen how they, and just look at it as this is your time to make a mark, and this is your time to get your first, to get all your CXC subjects. So tell yourself that I am prepared and I can handle this. I'm a winner, and a winner will never quit. And as I share the Marcus Garvey quote with you, that once you have confidence in self, you will be able to overcome. So if you use that method, the deep breathing and relaxation method, you'll be able to overcome your anxiety. You'll feel less anxious, right?
All right, sir.
You agree? Yeah, man, you have to
Yes,
talk
sir.
to yourself. You have to say, yo, I can handle this. You have to tell yourself, say, me run things, man, and not things run me. So when you see the exam paper, you say, me run this. This not run me.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Any other question,
Uh,
guys? Any other questions? So any other questions? Nobody else? So as I said, it's just win-win. So get into the habit of winning. So get used to the feeling of winning, and it's just win-win no matter what. So tomorrow is your first exam. I want to encourage each and every student right here who took the time out to listen to me, to really be encouraged that you too can be great. You too can do great things, because I started just as a student and now I'm at the University of the West Indies completing my first degree, a bachelor's in international relations. And I am confident that you too will be here someday or somewhere for higher learning. And I encourage you to get all your CXC subjects so that you are qualified. So when the opportunities may arise, you are able to take them. So today, just focus on what is to come. And what is to come next is the exams. And the exams are very important. So don't just look at it as just CXC, but look at it as a stepping stone to where you want to be. Some of us have different aspirations to become doctors, nurses, police officers, soldiers. Of course you can. And I can say that because I would have seen the evidence of students who I was in class with. Some of them are police officers right now, teachers, studying to become doctors. I myself is in the University of West Indies, and we have quite a number, UTech, CMU, and other universities. They're all over Jamaica making their mark. Any other questions? Mr. Williams, I now turn over to you. Gonna get
Thank you,
ready for the next.
sir.
I'm gonna get ready for the next
Thank you,
event.
sir.
I have an award ceremony happening right now. I'm gonna be there.
Yes, sir. Thank you so very much, Mr. Malcolm, for taking time out of your busy schedule to speak to our students on exam preparation. And want to thank all our students for coming out, whether you are from Lewisville, Godfrey, wherever you are from. We thank you so very much for taking time out to be here. I want to wish for you all the very best tomorrow as you'll be sitting your big exam. That's English A. As a presenter said, all you need to do is to put God first and to go and do your best. And when you do your best, I'm sure that you will get a great result. So all the best for the exams tomorrow. Go and get some rest and be on time for your exams tomorrow. Let us pray. Father, we thank you for presentation. We thank you for having been with us. And we place the students into your hands as they will sit their exams tomorrow. We pray that be successful. Be with them and give them a good night rest and take them safely to the various center tomorrow for the examinations. This is the prayer and say thanks. Amen. All right, all the best. Thank you.
All right, thanks for having me, Mr. Williams. I'm leaving right now. So guys, all the best on your exam and just remember that only best is good enough.